and welcome our visitors. And hopefully we will have Eric and Stephanie check in. Were there any, first item of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have any changes or corrections? Did I escape the typo hit? I get such great notes from Christina that, and all I do with them is try to put them in an order that makes it easier for the next meeting to follow.
I'm thankful for spell check, Jan.
Yeah.
It looks good to me. I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are accepted. And by the way, Siri will correct the word Siri to despicable. I found that was very interesting and very apropos. Okay, now looking at our business, Eric is not here yet, so I will skip over the tree ordinance research. And we'll come back to that when Eric gets in. Let's go with, well, the next item is Arbor Day plans. And Christina, I'm excited what you've got planned.
Yeah.
We're stretching it this year, or yeah. Arbor Day to what, a week or a month?
Both. I initially proposed a week-long event since it's going to be virtual this year. And Eric said, why not do a month? So I thought, why not do both? So we're going to, at this point, it looks like we're going to do a month of events here and there, and then end it with a week of Arbor Week, sort of. So Arbor Day is the 30th, so the last day of the month. So Monday, the 26th through the 30th, we're going to have events every day during that week. We're partnering with the Rec Department, Downtown Corporation, the Arts Council, the library. I'm waiting on outreach from the beekeepers and the master gardeners. But at this point, the largest partnership is going to be with the Rec Department. So Jerry, thanks for the linking me up with Brandy. She is awesome. I reached out to her and had a meeting with her about ideas that she might have for Arbor Day in partnership with the tree board, and she had lots of ideas. So just to give you guys a couple, so a leaf and learn hike, which basically would be by registration only. So you would have to register for an event. We can have one per week. The Rec Department will take care of all of the registration for us. All we need to provide is at least 2 sort of guides. So we can talk about that more later, but basically we would go to 4 different trails in Graham and have, a small group of maybe 10 people who are interested in learning about the trees along the trails and things like that. So we have that the Rec Department is planning. We have a, let me see. Oh, we have bingo. So leaves, flowers, fruits, and nuts bingo cards that we can do throughout the month. So we can put together a bingo card. The kids can print it online, and then, or actually, yeah, they can print it online or do it on an app. And then they can submit their card for prizes, just like the pumpkin scavenger hunt, things like that. Mm-hmm. There's also going to be a tree scavenger hunt, which I'm super excited about. We have planned with Brandy and Jan to go walking in a couple of weeks to some of the parks to find trees. So basically, there will be a hint that tells kids or people where to go to find the tree. And it'll have a big ribbon tied around it with a placard that talks about the tree, and it'll have a code word. So when they submit all of their code words, then they can submit that for a prize. So just lots of fun stuff that the Rec Department has planned in conjunction with us, and lots more to come. So for the full Arbor Week, what I have sort of tentatively planned at this point is the video that Jan was mentioning for tree trimming. Jan, is that still, your tree trimming, is that still happening?
The tree was trimmed.
Okay.
I sent Stephanie, I just got an email from Stephanie. She was in another meeting and it's run over, and unfortunately she's running it, so it's a little bit of a problem. But I had sent her the bio introducing me, and I'll read this to you in 2 seconds so you'll know what it was I'm doing, so because we want to follow on with more. I said oh wait, Eric doesn't have the link. Hold on one sec. One sec. Sorry, this is getting ridiculous. I don't know why he didn't get your forward.
Well, while you do that, I'll also mention that
Yep.
normally the Arbor Day event is for Lonnie. So, each year we have an Arbor Day event at the Arts Council in the grass, and we have just like different booths set up. And that's in conjunction with the Arts Council. And so they are still having, and that is usually called Family Fun Day. And so they have Family Fun Day. I didn't actually realize, Jan, they have it every month. And so their Family Fun Day is the 17th. They have it virtually now. And so they are going to make their Family Fun Day for the month of April tree and leaf themed. So
Okay.
Family Fun Day for the 17th will still be some sort of tree and leaf themed. And then they also have a craft pickup monthly. And so that actually falls on the 27th, which is during our Arbor Week celebration. And so that will be also tree or leaf themed craft that kids can go pick up at the Arts Council.
Okay.
And
That
we would still need to, correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, we would still need to declare one of those days during that week Arbor Day, because we have to get a proclamation from the council, signed by the mayor, and then normally the guy, forestry guy, comes and presents our letter recognizing us as a Tree City USA. We probably still should need to do that one of those days during that week. Don't
So
you think, Gary?
Oh, sorry, Tim. I have that currently listed on the 30th for the Tree City USA flag presentation, since that's something that's normally done. Does that cover that?
Mhm.
Tim?
Yeah, we could do it all.
April 30th.
Yeah, that's Arbor Day.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that all at one time. And I'd like to volunteer I've got a covey of male persimmon trees out back here on my side yard here in the boulevard downtown, down in Johnson Heights, that you could use. They are monster trees, and people don't know what they are, but they're neat trees.
That'd be a cool place to do it and introduce people in the city to another little nook and corner of Graham.
There's several cherry trees and stuff inside this boulevard, but mine have got some massive cedar trees and that little covey of male persimmon trees.
Awesome.
And it's in a big oval, Christina, like a boulevard oval, so there'd be parking if people went down there, if we did it there.
Okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. I also, Jerry, you mentioned maybe doing a tree canopy drone type thing. So I had that listed one day. I didn't know if that was something that you are have experience with, or if you know someone who can do that.
Yes, I do. I've got two people. We've got a drone at the city. Dwayne Flood would be your contact there. He's the pilot of the drone. If he does not work out, there's a gentleman lives in Greenway Park, Marcus Orr, that does a lot of drone videos, and he posts them online. He would probably love to do it, but he'd put a credit line on it, but that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I will reach out and get some contact information from those folks.
All right, try Dwayne first, and then if that doesn't work, get in touch with me, and I will get you Marcus' phone number. Perfect.
That sounds great. So I had that listed. Obviously, all of this is just like what I put on this calendar. All of this can certainly change. But then I also had at Brandy's suggestion, Tim, a see, plant, and grow type thing where I think Jan had mentioned maybe having a video of a tree planting or something. So would you be comfortable with us doing a video of you showing people how to plant trees and things like that? Or is there someone else who might be interested in doing that if you're not?
Me or one of my guys, either one, yes, we could do that.
Awesome. So the last thing with this is for some of the prizes for like bingo and the scavenger hunt, the suggestion was to give away trees. I know that's something we've done in the past. Do we have access to trees that we can give away?
I don't know what normally we get those trees from the Forestry Service. I don't know what the availability is. I have to probably check on that tomorrow.
Okay.
They get pretty scarce this time of year. Normally you have to book them pretty early. How many would you want?
I don't know how many people. I'll ask Brandy how many people participated in the pumpkin scavenger hunt. I don't know how many people would participate in this. I would say maybe 100, if that's possible. But then it would be really cool if you did a video on how to plant these trees that you're getting from us as prizes. So that would be nice.
Okay.
So,
I will try to go to the Forestry website tomorrow and see what's available.
awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
And that's all I had, Jan, with the exception of what we were talking about a minute ago.
Okay, well, I did, Duke Energy were very, very nice. They came, the head of what was he? The guy in charge of what they're gonna, the work organizer. He came and looked at the tree, and he did say that it's borderline if I want to save it or get it cut down. So I asked them to first cut it back as they would, and then could I decide then up or down, because that's hard to give up. And they came, they really did a lot of work on Pine Street, and it's very obvious driving on Pine Street why trees should not be planted near anything. So with that in mind, what I had written for my introduction, because we were each going to introduce ourselves to the city online, and why we're on the tree board, or what it is about trees that interest us. So what I had said, which is kind of trying to kick people off on planting the right tree in the right place and that sort of thing. I wrote, I fell in love with the trees on my annual visit to my Chrisman cousins here in Graham. I'd walk their property, which is now the Elevate 54 apartments, with my uncle, and we'd look at the growth over the past year of this magnolia, that willow oak, or mark the slow demise of the ancient walnut, or laugh at the aggressive bamboo. The last time I walked there was the week before it was cleared in 2017, and I realized that everything I saw had been planted in my lifetime. What great memories there, but I could also see great lessons in tree selection and placement all around me. Primarily that we don't plant trees for today, but for the tomorrows of the years to come. That's where you plant a tree. That where you plant a tree is crucial to the joy it gives as well as its longevity. This week, I've got Duke Power in my yard on East Pine Street. Once again, they're dealing with a willow oak planted 10 feet from the curb, too close to power lines. It's been there 45 years, and today they gave it another chairback cut, a cruel fate for what could have been a noble tree. I hate it, but it's time to end the effort and have it taken down. Like so many homeowners, my parents didn't know they put the wrong tree in the wrong place. This will be Graham's 40th year as a Tree City, USA. The Tree Board is committed to celebrating that achievement by reaching out to you with helpful information and educational resources that will enable you to learn about our city's trees, select the best trees for your property, place and plant them appropriately, and keep them healthy. I'm honored to be able to serve on the Graham Tree Board, a full circle for me. I'm sure my Uncle Chris would approve. So that gives a bit of history, but also what the tree board's going to do. And I'm a homeowner who faces what everyone bemoans, which is Duke arriving at the curb. So I think, that's something we need to educate people about, but educate them also to accept that they're not going to win the argument if that tree has to be trimmed. And Lonnie is nodding, and I would ask, do you have anything to add to that, Lonnie?
One of the realities, a lot of trees were planted of the older trees before some of the lines became an issue. But the wisdom of what you said there is we have to look at where things are right now and plan for the future. The longer we hold on, sometimes the more painful it is, and nobody wins.
Okay, well, I can't bear not putting something else back there, so I thought we can write up how I go about selecting a tree and what goes on. And I think, you know, with what you've planned for Arbor Day, getting people to look at the environment around them. But I think as many lessons that are everyday lessons of the streets and trees around them is really going to help us get our point across. And Stephanie was going to take this and introduce me. I think that's still going to happen. And then each one of us come up with something similar, a story about why we like trees and what we're doing. I am calling Duke this week and saying I've looked at it for the week and studied it. And the real reason I'm going to take it down, they did a good job. I will say they left the bottom of the chair back, which looked terrible. And being a willow oak, it just sent water shoots straight up and, 10 feet growth in 1 year. And I said, why aren't they taking off the bottom? They said, well, people don't like us to, so we leave it to fill in. I said, well, take it all off. So I have this very one-sided tree. And it looks okay, but it also, to recover from the pruning it's had, it's going to suck every bit of water out of my yard and garden. So I figured it's time to cut bait. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm lucky I'm on a street that is very busy. And I put up a sign that said free firewood, and it was gone in about an hour. So that's my plan for getting it cut back. But that's what, for the social, she is working with Mary on social media, and that was one of the things they wanted to start off with. So with all you're going to have for Arbor Day, I mean, that sounds phenomenal. I think we're gonna have people going, what happened? Because they're so used to the one small bit of Arbor Day. So I'm really excited about what you've done, Christina. What help do you need from the rest of us?
I would say just any ideas that you all have for that last week. I'll send out the calendar in the minutes for tonight, but that I have so far. And just, I'd really love the last week to be really packed full of stuff, just to really put our point across that we are here for education and lots of things. So if you can think of anything that we can put out on social media, I'll talk to certainly Stephanie about that, or any other activities that we can do throughout the month, but specifically that last week. I think we have a good amount of stuff throughout the month. I will point out that Earth Day is on the 22nd. We could potentially also do something in collaboration with Earth Day on that day as well, which is the week before Arbor Day. So just any ideas that you guys have for things that we can do for Arbor Day virtually would be really nice to add to the calendar.
Well, one thought I have, I take pictures all the time of my garden and trees. Now that you don't pay for film, I'm a fanatic. That I'll look back and see, because if we can follow that week, what trees are leafing out when, or I have a study in 4 microcosms right here. I have 4 willow oaks that leaf out across a month, simply based on the microcosm they're in. So maybe there's a way we can trace stuff like that, what's blooming, what's creating pollen, kind of the story of that week, with just posts of, that week in trees in the city. Might be one thing we could do.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Mary with Downtown Folks is looking at doing something with the windows. They've been really active with the window paintings and stuff. And so she's looking at what they could do there. I suggested maybe a timeline of like a tree from seed, to fully grown. And so she's working on some other ideas with the Downtown Folks. So we'll have some of that as well. But yeah, I love that. Certainly love that idea.
I got a question that goes back to Duke Power, and this is for Jerry. So a couple years ago, I have a 100-year-old maple tree, and Duke Power was pretty obnoxious about how they dealt with it. And so is there anything, and it sounds like Jan is actually having a good experience. with them. Is there a way to, does the city have any direct relationship with Duke in their pruning or input? And Tim, you also might have some input on this.
Just to let you know, it's not Duke Power. Duke Power gives the orders and hires somebody to do the trimming. It's Asfund.
Okay.
Yeah, that company I can't pronounce.
Is that right, Tim?
Aspen, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's Duke contracts with them and gives them the go ahead to do it. And it's in their right of way. So it's actually their tree. I understand what you're saying, but
Right.
Jan tree is actually encroaching in their right of way.
Right.
So no, we don't have, it's like dealing with the railroad. The railroad can do what the railroad wants to do.
They did say, Bonnie, I got a thing on the door with
Right.
contact numbers and everything. And they said that, I asked him, I said, look, we've got an adversarial relationship we'd like to change.
Mhm.
He said, people get upset because they don't read what we give them. They never phone us. And when we show up, they're saying, why didn't you tell me? And he
Yeah,
said, our
but
guy,
yeah, you know what? It seems like some years you get a good experience and some years you get a bad, and it just
Yep.
depends on who the person is that you get to talk to. Because I
Yeah.
called and I had the door hanger and the whole 9 yards, and it was awful.
yeah.
Well, I used to live across, beside Eric, across the street from your house. And they took a pin oak again, just like Jan was dealing with, and cut it down so far that we had it cut down the rest of the way. We didn't have as good of experience because we had to take the tree down ourselves. They wouldn't.
Right.
They would just do the H or
Yeah.
the chair cut, and then we had to do the rest of it. So,
So do we have any, is there a contact? Is there any control anything we can do to make a better relationship with Asplund?
I think Jan is making a move to do that.
Okay.
And to bring one of those guys in here as a guest speaker or something at one of your meetings might be a way you could ask questions.
Right.
Okay.
If Jan still got that contact, maybe she could arrange that to be a guest speaker at your meeting. You could take your meetings up a notch by doing something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, certainly, we got the announcement that they were going to do all of Pine Street. So I will talk to him and see if he'll let us know when they're planning to come back for one, because I had about 6 weeks notice. And if they're planning to come back for one, to have him for a guest at the meeting to explain what they're doing and why. And because he was very understanding and, worked with it. And one other time I had a guy come who just about in that bucket truck danced up in the tree. But yeah, there's sometimes when it's just been ridiculously, out of my way. So we've got to build the relationship. And I think that company probably gets it. It's so big a company.
Right.
So sure.
Here, let me just add that when I was working with the city of Mebane with Sandy Bagby, I don't know if any of you know her, but we always talked about how Bob Hutman would interface with Duke Power or Asplund, and he would kind of make sure they did all that they were supposed to do, and he kind of kept the appearance of the city. He greatly improved it by getting involved. So I don't know if any of us want to do that kind of interface, but it would just be nice to have some accountability, because we have had some pretty bad years, I think, with this experience, if you've had a street tree. And it's great when we have a good year, but it's not consistent.
Yeah.
Would
Well,
it be possible to find out?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lonnie.
Would it be possible to work with them to find out what their plan is? When I worked with Duke, they had a certain cycle that they would go through on all the rights of way. Find out what their plan is well in advance to be able to, as a city, be doing an educational program.
Yeah.
And also to have them involved in some training on what they recommend is the right plantings for the different types of right of way
Mm-hmm.
for future
Okay.
planting.
So that Duke would have that then, the plan?
They
or-
should have. They should have. When I was with Duke, they did have.
Uh-oh.
No. You're okay because
Oops.
I absolutely understand what you're saying. No apologies. I wouldn't be here otherwise. But depending on the type of right of way, it would be anywhere from a 3-year to a 9-year to even a longer cycle.
Wow.
So if they could identify what their plan is for any of their lines that go through Graham, it wouldn't have to even be a 6-week. It could give a whole year, 2-year in advance, and it would actually be to their benefit to have a proactive educational program going on.
Right.
Okay, oh,
Cool.
that's great. Well, let's see, does anyone want to talk with Duke, or wait till we get more members on here?
I'll do that.
Okay, you're on, Bonnie. Yeah,
So,
just
Bonnie-
if
Bonnie, maybe before you sign up. Ooh.
Judy, is that Judy? No,
I'm not sure. If I could get some kind of contact.
I'll
with
give you the
Bonnie.
information I have
Okay.
for who I talked to, but it would be somebody at Duke. Which area, Lonnie, would you?
They've reorganized since I was with the company, but you'd want to talk for transmission and distribution both, because there's transmission lines that come through as well. And it's the rights of way are 2 totally different rights of way management type programs.
Can one of us, Jan, can you have his email so I could email Lonnie?
Yeah.
And we could talk. Okay.
I'll give it to you. Okay. Great. Okay. Anything else on Arbor Day before we wrap that one up?
Nope.
Just
Again,
need to decide a location, where the physical location, so I can get it arranged with the forest ranger and all to present us with our Tree City, stuff for this year.
okay.
And that doesn't have to be tonight. We just need to, with a date, we would need to get a physical location where we could actually hold this event.
Definitely. I will put that on the note to bring up maybe in our first March meeting so we can get
Okay.
that settled.
But I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the proclamation for April the 30th, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Social media for Stephanie. She's working on that. She has also developed a logo. It looks good. Well, she'll have it for the next meeting to show us, or we'll send it around to see what you all think. So we have something standard to put across any documents we have, and that it jives, Jerry, with the city. You know, I mean, it'll be a tree, but you know, just with the city. The other 2 areas going forward, one was, I found out today that the old Trollinger, what's left of the Trollinger Hotel is being, going to be demolished, Jerry.
Oh,
I heard that. I haven't seen the details on it yet.
Okay.
That little
It's-
garden across catty corner from Rich and Thompson Funeral Home's garden.
Yeah, that's a corner of Melville, Marshall and
Elm.
Elm, and it's got the farm equipment on one corner where they just put up a new retaining wall with the sidewalk. You've got the garden that the funeral home has. You have a city parking lot, and this is the 4th corner. And it's what's left of a big old hotel. I've been told the historic resources folks are going to go in and see if there's anything they can salvage, because the building itself cannot be salvaged. And it's going to be turned into a parking lot.
oh no.
Well, yeah, oh no, but you know, the insurance company that is there that owns it, they need more parking. But I have looked at the one thing Eric apparently can't get on tonight. I don't know what he's been trying. The one thing I was looking at where there are ordinances, and there aren't a lot of things that are ordinances for homeowners, is what we were looking for, ways to help homeowners with landscaping. But I came across a few cities had definite instructions for the tree board or the city's technical review committee or to look at parking lots before they are, parking lot plans. And it occurred to me, this one is downtown. And one of the things we've been trying to do is get downtown more walkable. And maybe there is a way to encourage property owners, if not being able to do it ourselves, to implant in parking areas more canopy trees. Rather than just, they have to leave verges and everything, but maybe if we can find a way to support that, either with helping, first of all, can we review the technical specs of a parking lot in order to see what the landscaping is?
Well, everything in City Hall is, you can go and look at it. If it's a straight zoning, though, you cannot require somebody to do an extra planning in a straight zoning. If it's a conditional rezoning, you can add conditions. That's what the name. We were doing different zonings, and Ricky Hall wanted a tree in front of every house, but it was a regular rezoning to R12, and we can't ask them to do that. We can suggest, but you can't require them to do it. That's why we're pushing the conditional rezoning so much. We have a little bit of control over what where they're putting properties and the open space that they leave. And if they put a tree in front of every house, a different type of tree. So if it's great, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bonnie.
Do you know what the zoning is on that location?
It's going to be B2, and it's already zone B2, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's probably up to them if they wanted to put a planter out there with a low tree like a crepe myrtle. It's a bush, but a crepe myrtle or something like that. A canopy tree, you got to be careful.
They want to set it back. That's what I'm saying is, if you're putting in a 100-foot by 75-foot parking lot, you've got a back corner that isn't near a power line. That there might be a way to infill canopy trees in areas that are not going to have overhead lines, but do it in such a way that the property owner is doing it, but the city is supporting the idea, encouraging them, maybe helping them with selection, getting them to be part of programs they have for migratory bird. There has to be some way to do, other than an ordinance that says you have to do it, to do something that says this is a good idea, we encourage it, here are your resources, something like that.
There's pods, you can put them in the ground where the roots will not invade. Very expensive, but somebody like that might want to do something like that. We give them the option of using the in-ground pod that would contain the root system. Tim's looked into some of those for downtown. Yeah, and it's a good suggestion. And
because these would not be street trees, they'd be back set. Remember we talked about on South Main, Reed Woodard's property, where he expanded his parking lot, and he has I think it's 15 or 20-foot greenway running between him and the Verizon. And it's just, there's nothing there. He was putting in little, going to be 5-foot tall crepe myrtle when we have no power lines overhead, and a way to integrate more canopy within the spaces that aren't street trees, because we have power lines everywhere.
Yeah, even us, we make mistakes sometimes. We allow crepe myrtles, Bradford pears to go in under
Oh, yeah.
When they sold them to us, they were supposed to be 15 foot tall at their height, that was it. And they ended up all up in the power lines and brittle little old trees. They're just, Tim
Yeah.
hates every one of them he sees, I know.
There's a few left, but they're gonna be gone before long.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year, but it won't be long.
But when that breed came out, it came out as a 15-foot tree at max. And they didn't tell you the second growth of that tree had thorns to protect itself. If you ever seen the second growth Bradford Pear, it's a killer.
Some of them do, yeah.
It will hurt you bad.
Or that they are invasive now.
They are. It's like planting bamboo and thinking it's not going to do something. But yeah,
Back to what you were talking about a minute ago, Jerry, and what Jan commented on. I mean, I know that's gonna be private property because Schaffner owns that land.
Yeah,
But,
Mike Schaffner.
Mike Schaffner owns that land, his dad does. But, there's a lot of, and I don't know where we are with this downtown plan and all that kind of stuff with water retention and that kind of, because we really don't have any drainage around Core Square or that 4 block area now. I mean, that could be a potential site for some underground retention area, and you would have a tree sale. When you do that, you can have a tree sale with plant a tree in that area. I mean, these sales are designed for that. Just keep that in mind. I mean, I'll look at that area and I'll talk to Burke about it. And I'll even go talk to Mike. I mean, I know Mike. I'm not scared to talk to him. I'll go. I don't know I just don't think we can plant a canopy tree as a street tree because you got power lines.
Yeah. I'm looking at this, that's land back there that it's not going to be contiguous drive. It's not going to be drivable. The Tally's parking lot will be separate from this one, even if it abuts it. But I know there will be some green back in there.
I'll look at it.
Approach we could take on that, Tim. We could get one of the Schaffners to put a memorial tree back there in a pot, and us as the tree board
An idea.
do a ceremony there as a memorial for one of his relatives, Luther, one of those guys.
Probably so.
I mean, we could take it that direction and maybe entice him to do something innovative with it, one of the little capsules.
Right. Okay.
Show everybody else how to do it.
Okay.
When does he have to submit, or when does the builder have to submit the landscape plan for this parking lot?
It's already been submitted because it's B2 and it's cut and dry what he can and can't do.
Okay.
But he could add something, if he gives up a parking place and you put one of those tree containers in the ground, then he'd have certain types of trees that he could plant there. It's up to the size of the root ball and the size of the pod that he wants to put in. I mean, you can put a pin oak in one if you got it big enough. I know. Tim shaking his head. I know. You know what I mean, though.
Are we allowed to look at that plan? Do we have access to that, Tim?
They are.
I don't know that I don't know that a plan exists yet. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But there will be a plan before the parking lot is done or before it's installed. There should be a plan. Should be a landscape plan.
It is a gateway to the downtown, because if you come up Elm Street, and it could be even a more significant gateway if they ever do what they plan to do with Marshall, if they ever get that off the ground, that, it would be, you've got a park on one corner, and it could be a very beautiful corner if we was planned right.
Well, there'll have to be a landscape buffer on that one side because there's a residential house beside it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there will have to be, the zoning will require a landscape buffer on that side. I feel sure of that.
Okay.
And maybe in that landscape buffer, maybe we can get a canopy tree. I don't know. I'll take a look at it and see.
And for your information on stuff at City Hall, if it goes in City Hall, it's public record. And you can go in there and ask to see it. And that's anything. Any piece of paper that shows up at City Hall, there's no secrets at City Hall.
Right. So how do we know? I was looking at the Arbor Day Foundation website and kind of what our mission is as a tree board. And is there a way for us to be regularly involved with, how do we know when a new plan is coming in? Like, does Tim say, hey, I got a new plan? Or is there a way for us to weigh in on new things at a certain date?
Normally there's the process, the building process starts out with a TRC meeting, technical review committee.
Right.
So any plans, building plans, parking lot, any of that stuff comes to that committee at least one time. If it's approved the first time, then a lot of times we don't see it again, but sometimes it comes 2 or 3 times till they get, all the different departments have to sign off on the, everything, water, sewer, fire, building, everything has to clear that technical review committee. And most of your commercial jobs, there is a landscape plan. There's a car wash getting ready to go in on, what's the name of that little street there? It's off South Main, right there at Ivy Road. There's a car wash going in right there. And I got the landscape plan on it last week, and it is loaded with trees. It's loaded. It looks good.
Because I know, like when Elevate 54 came in, Tim reviewed that one, and there was an incredible variety of trees that went into there.
Yeah, there was.
Based on the feedback they'd gotten when they first looked at it.
How do we get involved? How do we get involved? How do we get involved with that process?
Because when our tree board was created in as an adjunct with Tim's job and his people, so a lot of cities, the tree board does what Tim does, but we have Tim doing a job which left us free to do the educational side. There is a way, but we'd have to look at what is the process and how we can fit in. And I would assume without holding up the process or making Tim's job tougher.
And we don't want to do that, Tim. We want to be a help.
Right. I mean, I have a copy of this blueprint, a small copy. I don't have a big regular size copy, but I have a small copy of the landscape plan for this car wash that's being proposed right now. I mean, if you want to see it, I'll show it to you. It's no secret.
So what would work for you and for the city? I don't want to be pestering you all the time, saying, hey, Tim, do you have any plans? But I would love to be more involved in knowing what's going on before it happens. We're often kind of after the fact, involved, and it'd be great if we could be there in the beginning.
Well, we only get 1 or 2 of these a year. I mean, really, there's not many because it's only on commercial. We have no control over residential. Single family residential. Now, if it's multifamily residential, we do have control. They will have a landscape plan, but if it's just single family residential,
right,
there's nothing, no landscape plan.
Right, but for commercial, is there a way? I mean, should we just should one of us just text you or email you once a week and say, do you have anything? Or how can we best not be a pest and be helpful?
I can text you or call you and just say, hey, I'll run it by her and let you look at it or something like that.
Okay.
If you want to look at it.
Okay.
Well, I'll give you another opportunity to learn something while we invite Nathan Page to come speak to us all on one of your meetings as a question and answer for Nathan.
He did that, but we have a lot of new members since then.
And we've had Nathan before, and Nathan does a good job.
Yeah.
He does a very good explanation.
Yep.
it would be a good question and answer session for you.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to add one other thing. I thought it was interesting that on the Arbor Day website, they had just 2 simple goals: improve tree cover and inspire the next generation. And I thought, okay, we can do that. I mean, it's huge, but yet
Yeah.
it gives us a good focus, I think.
Well, I
Those who
sent
might be involved with education, you know, Christina, you're doing fantastic work with that. So,
Was I sent around the link to the tree inventory to everyone. Did you get that? Remember seeing it? I'll send it again. But the tree inventory has, it's really eye-opening. Look, it's not what you have on your computer, Tim. It's the report that John sent.
Right.
You know, it's a PowerPoint for us to read. But it is amazing the variety that we have in town under city trees. And the state they're in, which he said we were one of the best cities he's seen for taking care of trees, which was really good to hear. But I think the more we can educate people, that's the next generation. You know, as I've told many of you, I've never forgotten when we did Arbor Day at the middle school here, which is primarily first generation kids. And we planted a bunch of trees. We created a little arboretum that the school now has in its hands. And the kids, I would see them occasionally coming, bringing their parents to show them their tree. Because when they looked at the thing we had of the rings to count, and I said to them, they were 6th graders, and said, when you are 70 years old and you bring your grandchild here, you know, how many rings will be in this type of thing. They saw it as, you know, they weren't planning it for themselves. This is ahead. This is something they can show a grandchild. And that's my lesson I got from Uncle Chris, because everything he planted, he brought home in a coffee can. He was a doctor, Lonnie, and he did a lot of house calls, but he brought home in a coffee can and he planted bamboo. And the city's paying for the bamboo he planted. But you know, everything else, I watched it grow from something in a coffee can into, you know, I hate to say it, but a 60-year-old tree. And I think that for kids to see what they're doing and think ahead, if we can implant that in a lot of young minds here, we're doing a lot towards what the mission is for being a Tree City USA.
Hey, Jan, sort of on that note, and Bonnie, I know Bonnie also, you suggested something sort of along those lines for Arbor Month, but it might be really cool if we could put together either one post per day to show all the different types of trees in Graham, how long they live, you know, their life cycle, things like that, or just one day we could put together a document where you could see all, you know, flip through all the images of all the different types of trees in Graham and reference this inventory report as well, just so people know that that's something that exists out
Yeah,
there.
it's available.
Yeah. Awesome.
Also, my next door neighbor, they had to cut down a huge pine tree, which we know exactly when it was planted, because that was the WPA project for Pine Street when they planted the pine trees. And he cut it down and he wanted to get some lumber out of it. And I said, would you cut us some slices? And this tree will be around 100 years old, but you might, if I can get the slices from Will, we might be able to put them in town somewhere and say, count, you know, as a contest to count the rings right. So that
Yeah,
one
I
might.
have a few of those in my backyard.
Yeah, they're big. They're what year was it? 29.
No, but it's, my house was built in '56, so but the backside has the big pine trees.
Yeah.
That used to be all of this Johnson Heights was covered with those pine trees. Most of them are gone now.
Yeah, the ones that are left are really big, like his was, but it was Tom Zachary donated the land for the WPA to plant.
Mhm.
So
One more question.
Okay. Bonnie, anything? Did I see a hand?
I did, you did, yes. So in thinking about these two very simple goals that have very broad tasks for us to do, in trying to improve tree cover, I was thinking, is there a way for the tree board to be like the welcome wagon for Graham? Do we have any kind of welcome wagon? I don't know any other term to call it. You know, when somebody moves in, a new business owner or a new homeowner, is there a way for us to automatically send out something? This is who we are, and you know, this is what we can help you with or offer to you. And having this welcome wagon, maybe we would have a number of different organizations under this umbrella, including the tree board. But I really think it would be a really nice, you know, Southern hospitality symbol of this wonderful small town is welcoming you. And I was thinking of just names like, you know, Rooted in Graham or something like that, but whatever, but somehow to reach out to new people that are coming in, whether you're a business or a homeowner.
And particularly since we have a lot of new developments and new houses going in, and probably first-time homeowners and people who, you know, don't know what they want in the landscape and have probably had landscaping put in that won't survive without a lot of help.
So what
You're
could we
a
do?
new resident, Lonnie. What do you think? Did you get anything, or how would you have seen something?
We didn't get anything at all. We looked, but we did not receive anything. We didn't find a source to find anything.
Okay. What do you think, Jerry?
I think we would incorporate the Graham Area Business Association and set up a private group of welcomers, you know, a regular group of people that does that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the city can help, but yeah, I think it should be the Graham Area Business Association's lead dog. And I'll get somebody to call you if you want. Is John Harrington still the president, Tim? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know who's president now.
Okay.
No, John is not the president of the Business Association.
But it seems like that ought to be, you know, put together a folder with all kinds of different information, not just
that, and
but,
that's part of what Mary does. I mean, I would think that Mary should be involved in that.
Okay.
yeah, well, that ought to be the first step.
I mean,
is go talk to
my
Mary.
opinion, you got a lot of people. I mean, look at all the development on Rogers. Just take Rogers Road.
Right.
Look at all the development off of Rogers Road. You know, those people, a lot of them, I mean, they're 2-3 miles from downtown. How many of them ever come to downtown?
Mm-hmm.
Do most of them leave every morning, hit the interstate, go to work, come home, get off the interstate, and go home? I mean, to me, downtown development association would be the business association is the ones that needs to reach out to these people to say, hey, you know, we're here. You know, this is what Graham has to offer. And I don't think that's happening now. But I mean, that would be part of Mary's promotion of downtown.
The water bill. Is there? I mean, everybody who comes in has to have water.
They do it
online.
Get a water bill anymore.
and they do it online. They sign up
A lot of people
online.
do water bill online.
When you start an account, though.
Online.
It could be something we could hand out, but you've got to get the foundation first. You know, when they come in to do their water bill, you can hand them this packet of stuff that is a welcoming packet,
Right.
and say that we'll contact you later on.
Yeah.
Let's contact Mary, as Tim said, and get her
Okay.
to get some ideas what other people are doing.
Yep.
Work with the Realtors Association.
That's an idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
If nothing else, if it's nothing other than a packet that's in each new home, you know, the packet is in each home when the homeowner arrives.
Yeah, a package that's got a couple of coupons to come back uptown to eat or something like that.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, something
information
like
about Graham.
Yeah.
And that's the place that you would want to put your tree board information and your canopy tree information and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would-
On all your boards.
All your
All the boards,
that's correct.
exactly.
Yep.
But that,
Certainly the
that-
Parks and Rec would
Yeah.
want to, you know.
to me, that falls
Right.
under mayor.
Really reaching out. They do an excellent job, and they're good ones to ask because they do an excellent job.
Right.
Okay,
The Grand Police and the fire department are starting to reach out the same way. And they actually went to the recreation department and asked them, well, you know, how are you doing this? And they're starting to do the same thing. So it's,
do you want to
let's-
kick it off by talking to Mary, Bonnie?
I'd be happy to talk to Mary.
Okay, and
And
then,
Bonnie, I think this is something we could do online also, since everyone gets most of their information online. I think something to hand out would be nice, but if we do it online, that way we can provide links to Facebook. You know, you just sort of have to stumble across the Facebook information, and a lot of people don't even know that Graham has the Instagram page. So if you do it online, then you can provide links and say, hey, welcome, go ahead and follow us, you know, at all these different places.
sort of have a portal on the website that, you know, welcome to Graham type of thing. Okay.
Great idea.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie. Good idea. Okay, is there any other thing that was not, the only other two things I had, and this fits in with it, but I wanted, I'll put it on for next week, next month rather, is digital literature. What is it we want to develop in the way of digital literature? And monitoring all the links that we put up to make sure they stay alive. So I'll put that on the agenda for next month. Is there anything else for this month? No?
When's Lonnie gonna join?
Looking forward to meeting in person with Jen here soon.
Yes, yes. It'll be outdoors. I'll bring my dog. I can't leave her alone. I'm attached to the leash right now. Yeah, I will get in touch with you, Lonnie, and we'll meet. But I think that we meet first Monday of the month. So our next meeting will be on March 1st, I guess. But wait a minute.
Yep.
March 1st.
Yeah, March 1st.
Okay, and I am going to send out to everyone and find out why they are not being able to get on this Zoom call, because that's two down that could not get on. So so that we can get started on time and get going. And if there's nothing else, I'm excited about Arbor Day. I'm really excited. Arbor Month. Any other questions or comments for this meeting?
Yes. Jerry, when did you say Flag Day was?
I didn't. I think Tim had the date.
Arbor Day.
Flag
Arbor Day is,
No, she said Flag Day.
I don't know about Flag.
Oh.
Oh, I thought somebody said
June 14th is Flag Day. I think, Judy, you might be talking about Earth Day. I mentioned Earth Day, and that's the 22nd of April.
for a second. Okay, and Flag Day is June, did you say?
Yes, June 14th is Flag Day. Yes, ma'am. But
Thank you.
we do have a Tree City USA flag that's presented at Arbor Day for the city, and it's a sort of a presentation that that the mayor does for like our
Oh,
hired Arbor Day event.
And
that's what I got here. I got the flag and that day together.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
and we brought up at the last meeting, Jerry, for the city to fly our Tree City USA flag for the month of April.
That'd be perfect.
Great. The
It won't be on the top. It'll be the
I
same.
know. Hey,
Okay.
I know that.
Just that.
Done my flag raising in my time.
Okay.
The other thing for Earth Day, just to add that we could maybe do some things that are more environmentally centered, like the, you know, benefits of trees and that for that day, focus on that day. Okay, well, if we have no more business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor can turn off their Zoom. Lonnie, I will get in touch with you and hope you want to join us.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Have
Okay.
a good night.
Take care,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Jan and Tim.
Yeah,
I have already scheduled the next meeting March 1st at 7, and I sent it to your email and copied Darcy, so she knows it's coming.
thank you, sir.
Bless you, Jeff.
No problem. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.